Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to take a look at Maria's FR banner and let you know if I think you should pull on it or not. So this banner is going to have Maria, Ceodore, and Prompto, and there's going to be two banners. One will basically have, they'll both have the same things, except one's going to have Seymour's BT and one's going to have Ceodore's BT. If you're gunning for Maria, summon for the one for the BT you would rather have. If you're not building Seymour, then just grab Ceodore's. But Seymour's probably the better character to have the BT, but Ceodore's fine too, right? So it just depends on what you like. So I'm going to quickly overview the characters and let you know what I think of them and if this banner is worth pulling on. So Prompto is a ranged damage dealer, and basically his big thing is he is kind of a follow-up character. So if you're in need of a follow-up character, like if you're desperate for one, Prompto can be a decent pickup. I would say other follow-up characters are probably a little bit better than him, but he's not terrible, right? So that's kind of how he is. He's just a follow-up damage dealer, has some debuffs, some things like that, right? But he's not like the craziest character. And once again, he's like a rerun character, so he's not getting like an insane rework or anything crazy right here. So he's definitely not the character you should be gunning for, but he can be a nice side piece if you need a follow-up character, right? Then we have Ceodore. Ceodore is a rerun BT character. He is I would say a fairly support-based BT character, and he's very much healing-based. So he has a lot of healing in his kit, can do some okay damage. Ceodore, for me, has always been a character that's been kind of in between. Like, I like other damage dealers better than him, and I like other support healers better than him, right? But if you like Ceodore, he's not like the worst character you can grab. The only thing is Ceodore's going to be a little bit more investment if you want to green the BT and have access to his BT effect. But I wouldn't recommend most players go in here and try to gun for Ceodore, right? Then we have Maria. So Maria here is kind of like the big part of the banner, right? And Maria, personally, I am going to summon for her, but it's because I personally like her FR effect, and I think I'm going to effectively use it. So the thing with Maria is she's kind of like a mix of things, right? Because she has some debuffs, but then she also does healing, and she does traps, and she does off-turn healing. So she's very much kind of like a utility type character, right? And she could serve as your main healer because she does have a lot of healing in her kit. So she does have on-turn healing with one of her attacks, and then she has off-turn healing through her traps, which is pretty cool. So I personally really like this style of character, and I like the way her FR is going to operate. But I'll talk about like how her FR works. And you really have to team build around her FR if you want to use her FR properly, right? So it's going to depend on if you have the right units to do it. So the way her FR works, most of it is based on healing, right? So one of them is passive healing. So it's basically healing that is off turn. Will heal 2% per character healed, which doesn't seem like much, but as long as you're AoE healing, you're getting 6% per heal, and this can be done off turn. So this can be really good because you can actually get 6% per tick, where if you think of like Core's FR is another example of like an off turn one, but you only get 5% per tick. But what happens, and if you've watched my videos with these defense comps, those small ticks really add up, especially against aggressive enemies, right? So Maria, you can actually get 6% per tick, but you have to very specifically build a team build that has a lot of off-turn healing in it to get that, right? You also get 20% if the enemy turn ends where their brave is at 0 or they're broken. So you just have to keep the enemies broken, keep their brave at 0, and she really does this well through her traps. So they're kind of promoting her traps because her traps will very commonly break them or make sure they're at 0 brave when they end their turn, right? So having characters with traps, which the thing is if you're running this with off-turn healing, most characters that do off-turn healing, it's through traps anyways. So then you're going to be activating that extra 20% through break, right? Or having them at 0 brave. And then on-turn healing is 5% per character healed. So on turn, you can get 15% for doing an on-turn heal. So you could combo that. So like if you did like a free turn heal, so like for example, if we said Rem's Cure, for example, you can get pretty fat percentages because like the free turn HP gain will have its own base percentage in it, and then you'll get another 15 for healing everybody. So like without damage, you can get some pretty good damage there. Plus if you have off turn, then you'll do off turn damage. Or if you just do an on turn attack that heals, you can also get 15% if it's AoE healing. Now the one part that people criticize her FR for is any healing done through like a sphere or through like a call doesn't count. So it has to be like healing that the character naturally has, right? So I know that is kind of a bummer, but if you build the team right, and the thing is the team is filled with characters I like, right? So the type of characters you would want, so immediately what comes to my mind is like Celis and Minwu. And they're like super good characters, and I have them fully built, right? So for me, like, everything's lighting up for me, like, oh yes, I want this FR because I already like them. Not to mention, like, Minwu and Celis also have FRs that I could use, right? Now, they don't all synergize the best with each other's FR, because Celis and Minwu are tied to elements, so that part's a little tricky, but Maria, I believe, could tie into either one of their elements, but just using Maria's FR, I mean, if you have Maria, Minwu, and Celis as a team, right? That's a team where you have access to 6 FRs if you need it, and they all like are kind of off-turn, like similar type of style of FR that you can run, which is kind of crazy, right? And within that team comp, you're just loaded with traps, and these are traps that heal. So that's why Celis and Minwu, I feel like, really, really work well with Maria. Now, a character I also really like is Gao, and I love Gao on off-turn team comps because with say, like, cores, he does double counters, which means he can double trigger it, right? Now on Maria's, he can't double trigger it because it's only for the heal, but one of his 2 counters will heal, which is really, really good. And the thing is with this team comp, you're going to feel really safe because unless you get one shot, the team is just constantly healing, right? I think Furion is another one that comes to mind for me because he can do like off-turn healing shenanigans as well. So that could also work. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. I think Leon even has some healing. And then you could run just any other characters that heal. They might not have off-turn healing, but at least even if they have on-turn healing, you can get some percentage. But to really get the full effect of Maria, we want off-turn healing. So my goal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Maria's FR, and I'm going to take her into Chapter 9, that Ultimecia fight that's really aggressive. And I'm going to take her into there with probably Celis and Minwu. And I think that team is going to wreck house. Like, absolutely wreck house. So, that being said, I just wanted to, like, kind of explain what her FR does. But do I think you, the average player, should pull for it? Probably not. It is a little niche, and like I said, you have to have like a more specific to get the full effect of it. Now, that's not to say you can't throw Maria just on any team comp, pop her FR, and just use it. You won't get as high percentages, but you may be combo. Maybe you're a player, because not every player likes to optimize and get it done in one FR, right? So maybe you're someone that likes to play the game more passively, a little bit slower, and just use, 3 to 4 to 5 FRs in a fight, and you don't really worry about optimizing them. Sure, you could do that. And just toss around any team and you're probably going to be fine. But if you can really optimize it with off-turn healing, I do think it's worth pulling for, and it's going to be a very fun FR. Now, obviously, the argument can be made, which I already pointed out, is I've got Celis and Minwu max, including FR. So do I need Maria's FR? Is yet another FR that is kind of similar, that is an off-turn FR? No, I absolutely do not need it. But do I like it and want to play it? Yes, I do, so I'm going to pull for it. But I would say for the average player here, I don't really recommend pulling on these banners because none of these characters, I would say, are like top tier meta. And once again, when we do should you pulls, we're recommending based on what are the most meta-defining characters, the best characters for your stones. Now, if you lack healers, if you're a newer player and you have like no healing, then there is more value here because Maria and Ceodore are going to provide that for you. But I would say for your average, more veteran player that already has established things, this is probably skippable. And I would say even for a brand new player, if you can hold out, even if you don't have healing, if you can just hold out a little bit longer, like I would just hold out for Jack Garland. Because that's the banner y'all are going to want to pull on, and it's coming up very soon. We've actually got a community stream coming up this coming week, and I'm expecting that he's going to be the first character announced. Obviously, they could do something different, do a time warp, something like that, but my expectation is that he's going to be announced, and he's probably going to drop like at or around Christmas time, maybe New Year's, somewhere in that range, but he should be like the next thing after Yuna, and Yuna is coming after Maria. So we're getting pretty close to Jack Garland time. So anyways, guys, my quick answer is no, I do not think you should summon. But if you're someone like me that you have the setups to run your team and you really are going to enjoy your FR, then sure, go for it, right? So anyways, let me know what you think of Maria. Let me know if you're going to pull or not. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.